G'day Rebounders. Got a special event today at midday. We've got a live Q&A with Angus, Xero's small business advocate. It's going to be stacks of insights and there might even be a giveaway. We'll see you right here on the Rebounds Instagram. Midday. See you then. Okay. We're live. How are we doing, guys? Special event for this Wednesday. A little bit of midweek rebound action for you all. Today we've got a special treat. Today we are dialing in Angus Capel, who is small business advocate at Xero. We are going to expect to have a chat about 2020, what that has meant for small business, which I suppose we could talk a lot more about that if we needed to, but also about 2021 and what to expect there. There is no shortage of unknowns. And I think, here he is, beauty. I'll dial him in now. Traveling far and wide today. Yes, we made it.
I've made
Well
it.
done.
Sorry for the delay. I've been trying to join with a computer, and it just has not happened. So give me one momento.
No worries. No.
I've
only ever done this successfully.
But sorry for the delay. After
no
a
problem.
year, and I'm going to be talking about technology as well. So I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite, but
And
we made it in the end.
And you're 90 degrees. You're standing on the you're this way for us.
Oh, really?
I suppose I could do that, but that would
Hang on. Let me see if I can change myself. Oh. Hang on. I'm going to have to do a little switcher.
There you go. There you go.
I made it. Yeah.
Outstanding.
I'll just find something to prop you up on so that I don't have to hold you with my arm.
No worries.
Would have been better if I had a bit more success, but that's okay.
No, all good.
We'll get there.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey, no worries.
So where in the world are you? Whereabouts in Australia are you?
Whereabouts am I struggling away? In Canberra. Yes. So
Nice.
I am lucky enough to be in the office today, because our offices have opened back up, which is a real luxury. Our head office is in Melbourne, but yeah, those guys are still waiting to open back up. But yeah, we're back in business.
Awesome. And so I gave a very brief introduction at the start of the stream. Angus, just give us a bit of background into your role at Xero.
Yeah, sure. So I am Xero's small business advocate, and so I am lucky enough to be based here in Canberra because this is where the government is situated. So my role is to help the government with the information that is generated across Xero's platform to help them make decisions that are going to be good ones on behalf of small business. So my background has been in government and in small business policy. So it's a really awesome place to work, actually, to be helping the government, who's really keen to be helping small business to reach their goals.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's been a big year for that as well. There's been a lot of change and a lot of information that's been needed. So yeah, it's been pretty flat out.
And in reflection, like, our government reacted very quickly, didn't they, to support small business? I mean,
yeah,
no one, if you look at the reaction time and even the size of the compensation for small businesses, I reckon Australia is far and above both speed and obviously generosity as well, wouldn't you think?
It has been absolutely incredible. Like, with the knowledge of how long decisions usually take to be made, this was just all in really quickly. So it was a lot of big decisions to be made, how to do it, and actually enabling it as well. So there were no shortage of challenges, but I think that it's been good that the government came in to support, but also that small businesses were able to understand the situation that they were in, and change their businesses, but also, respect how the pandemic was unfolding as well. So taking the precautions, making sure that people were checking in where they could, washing their hands, just taking care to give ourselves the best chance of actually recovering fairly well. Which, fingers crossed, we have. So it's been a monumental effort for most of the year, really.
Yeah. And the notion of corporate responsibility, both not through the corporate world, but also all the way down through to small business, looking after your team and making sure that the workplace, or at least the work community, is a network of people you can rely on, both outside of like the business context as well as the social and now your health context as well. It's one of those things that will not change. I think that the sort of the humanity in business is something which is now a prerequisite for everyone.
Yeah, and I think it's probably even more so. I think employers now, more than before, recognize the important role that they play in people's lives, especially small businesses where the owner of the business or the employer often sees their employees as family. But now there's a whole nother layer of responsibility there, but also responsibility at work, but also socially. People get a lot of their social interactions at work, and there's, a lot of the community feel that happens at work as well. So I really think that going forward, there's going to be a lot more respect for small businesses and just how important they are in communities.
Yeah. And so are there any sort of big trends which are unique to Australia, which you see will not change as we move out of the sort of the pandemic phase?
Yes,
Hopefully.
yes, absolutely.
Hopefully.
And I guess it's probably going to be good to chat about the pandemic phase, as you say, that we're starting to come out of it, just how big it was and how massive the shock was early on, but how small businesses have been resilient to get back out of it, because they had to change a lot of their processes when they were in the throes of a lot of uncertainty and a lot of challenge. So there was a lot of courage there that needed to happen. So Xero Small Business Insights, which is the information that I work with predominantly here to communicate with government so that they can make good decisions. That's an aggregation of anonymous data from across our platform that we communicate with stakeholders who are interested, so with government, but also with other publicly as well. And so what it showed was that the revenue peak to trough for small businesses in aggregate fell about 15%. So in the worst parts of the crisis, the revenue was backwards about 9% on where it was last year, and that was in April and May, before recovering to be about level for the first time in October. And so employment as well was down about 12% peak to trough, which is just massive. So hit pretty much twice as hard as business as a whole. And that came back in October to about -2%. So businesses are tough, they're resilient. They made these changes in the face of not being able to communicate and sell face-to-face with their customers. And so that's kind of the setup of what I think is going to happen and what the major trends are going into the future from here. Because the most part of it is and the major driving trend that has driven all of this is that businesses have just been pushed further online. Consumers are demanding that businesses can sell their wares to them online, and that opens up a host of new sort of trends that open up underneath that. And so that the first one is, first and foremost, that businesses are just going to have to be online. Like there's no maybe it's going to be nice. It's either you're there or you're not, and I think that success is going to depend on being able to reach customers. The next thing that really stands out to me is the opportunities for remote work. So small businesses jumping on what big businesses have been able to benefit from for a fair while. And that is the things like innovation, me, for example, being able to work with a colleague over in Western Australia and someone in Asia, and the innovation that comes out of those different mindsets and happening at kind of the intersection of the way that people think, that's going to be a hugely new thing for small businesses as well. And really the final one, I think, is the ability for niche small businesses to carve themselves out as successful. So having a product or a service that is really, really narrow, but because of the consumers all being online at the moment, being able to access a big enough market so that you can make it work. And we've kind of seen this in the ABS stats that have been coming out recently. The number of CEOs is going through the roof. And it's side hustles, it's projects like leatherworking and jewelry, and what otherwise would have been really niche and basically impossible to do if I set up a store in Canberra and was trying to sell cufflinks, would never have gone anywhere. But if I'm selling them to Australia, New Zealand, Asia, the US is on my hit list, the world's your oyster.
Yeah, that's right. We cover off so many of these topics in the show where we talk about, the like niche is the new mass, isn't it? Because you can reach your customer with such efficiency and they can find you with such efficiency as well. Shipping interstate and even globally is a mandatory now, isn't it? I mean, the notion of just being a market, having the market mentality isn't going to work. Even if you're a supplier in perishables, like such as butchers and those sorts of things, you can, there's no reason why you can't create a premium product or specific product that you can't ship. You can cater for almost every business, can't you now?
Yeah, certainly. And that kind of opens up more opportunities and challenges as well. I remember hearing a story, it was only a little while ago, about someone who was manufacturing goat soap. That's pretty niche product. And so they were going relatively well in their local area and decided to put it on, I think it was Alibaba or one of the big platforms in China. And they just got completely swamped, like completely overwhelmed, like 100,000 orders within the space of a week or so.
Yeah.
And they couldn't fill it. And so then they're on the other side of challenge. So, if you've got something that really meets the need for consumers, then you need to do the planning on the other side as well, is that you need to have the manufacturing capability in place, the shipping capability, the logistics, the distribution, all of that stuff that you wouldn't have to worry about if you were just the butcher on the corner. Yeah. All of a sudden, there's potential. So it's really exciting, I think.
Yeah. And so the Business Insights report, we've referred to that a couple of times in the show. Just talk us through we'll make sure we drive anyone who wants to find it, we'll make that link available. What's the sort of the MO of the Insight report?
Yeah, sure. So Xero Small Business Insights has been going since 2016. And so what it does is it is an aggregation of anonymous data from our subscribers. So there's upwards of 100,000 contributions to this data set. And from that, we can measure basically, not in real time, but pretty close to, a month or so back, just what is the health of the small business sector. So we can see aggregate what revenue is happening, what employment is happening, payment times, all of those sort of things that previously would have taken months and months, if not a year, to come out of the ABS, we can put out in a month. So the power of that when you're making decisions, either public policy decisions, but also decisions in a business, understanding where the rest of the sector is at, can be really, really powerful. So we've been putting these reports out monthly since 2016. They've been fairly highly targeted to respond to the coronavirus questions since March. But it's a product that we will keep putting out, and it's publicly available. So well worth having a look, even just out of interest's sake, to see how it does compare to other places. So we've got a UK, New Zealand, Australia comparison, and even just seeing how those countries in terms of revenue and employment compare to each other is fascinating.
How interesting. So you guys have kindly offered up a Xero goodie bag. Now, it's a mystery what's in the goodie bag, but best question over the next 5-10 minutes wins that. Here's one, Angus. How can Xero help my small business, and how can I get started? Beautiful.
That is a very good question. So Xero, the power of Xero is kind of the same as Xero Small Business Insights, is it just gives the business owner real-time oversight of the position of their business. So people can understand, what their sales looks like, who they owe money to, who owes them money, and whether they're actually making a profit when they get up in the morning. So our login rates we see are really, really popular at 7 a.m. in the morning, when people, they might look at the orders that have come in overnight or what, and they can go, okay, this is my position for the day. But the additional power to it is you can invite in your advisor, your accountant, or your bookkeeper, so that they can also see your stats in real time, and you can start to carve out strategies and optimize your business by changing the way that you might operate, or integrating more technology through Xero's platform to actually start to benefit from the power of the technology that a lot of other businesses are starting to jump on the back of now. So getting started, there's a lot of really good resources to walk business people through how to use Xero online. But probably one of the best ways to get the most out of the software is actually working with an accountant or a bookkeeper. So the way that we talk about it is Xero is kind of like a gym subscription. You know, walking into the gym by yourself with no idea of how to use any of the equipment can be a bit daunting. But if you go in with a personal trainer who walks you around and shows you the ropes and lets you know how to use everything safely, you'll get the most out of it. So that's the best way to get started for sure.
Yeah, right. I only ever know Xero. We use it for the show, and I use it for my personal consulting as well.
Yeah.
And that
what do you think?
dashboard,
What do you find? What do you find is the biggest benefits in your use?
well, I'm definitely a visual person. So the ability to see the dashboard and see the health of the business visualized, and see sort of the forecasts and those sorts of things, I think is that's the big benefit for me. Also, again, I think, like you said, that gym analogy is fabulous. My accountant can go in there, and previously, I don't remember specifically what the tasks were, but I just remember a lot of menial tasks.
Yeah.
Particularly around BAS time, particularly around doing anything administrative. It's mopped up a lot of those things, where essentially a digital signature is my only kind of thing I have to do. Now I've obviously got my trusted advisors in accountants and those sorts of guys. It's mopped up a lot of those tasks which I was never good at, never wanted to do, always had something better to do, and probably had to do them twice half the time because I stuffed them up.
Yeah. And I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head when you say that you've got better things to be doing. You know, your time as a business owner is not best spent going through and chasing up on invoices or lodging, you know, receipts with your accountant or your bookkeeper. It's about automating those processes so that you can focus on your competitive advantage, what you're really good at, and what you got into business for in the first place.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's really what Xero aims to do.
Nice one. So here's one from Brolly. Cool. So how can Xero help with invoicing?
Good question. Another good question. And this has kind of changed through COVID as well. But so within Xero, you can invoice from within the software. So firstly, it gives you a very professional way and a template to send to your customers. And so that's customizable as well, so that you can put the logo on there and it looks really professional. But one of the big tips is to integrate a payment solution to that invoice, because what is challenging at the moment, and the trends that people are going to now is being able to look at something and pay on the spot. So having a pay now button on your invoice is something that's doable through Xero. It makes it simple for the consumer who wants to just look at it once, and it shows that you get paid 55% faster as well.
Wow.
So all of those things will add up to cash flow, less paperwork, less chasing up on people who owe you money, and putting a really professional foot forward as well.
Outstanding. Love that. Well, unless there are any other questions, so the Insights report, if you just Google Xero Business Insights report, is that the best way to go?
Yeah, Xero Small Business Insights for a Google, or it's all linked through from Xero.com as well. And so there's other bits and pieces of research and insights there. We did some pandemic insights reports with Bernard Salt not long ago, which points to more of those macro driving trends that are changing at the moment and how small businesses are responding. So it's always really handy for business people to know what the competitors are up to. So some really helpful information there as well.
Excellent. Nice one. Well, thanks. And yes, here we go. One last question. How easy is it to switch?
How easy is it to switch to Xero? It's
Yeah.
it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So it's always the matter of good data in, good data out. So
Yeah.
there are engines which will help a business to change over to Xero if that's what they seek to do.
Mm-hmm.
The strong advice is to work with your accountant or your bookkeeper to help through that process, to make sure that all of the information that was in the old software product is actually transitioned over to Xero, and that you can just hit the ground running rather than having to fix up bits and pieces of data that may not be quite correct.
There you go. Nice one. That was very, very efficient. Well, after a rocky start, that was
sorry about that.
That was a good chat.
Not
no
strong
big deal.
on Instagram.
We'll go through all the questions and pick out a winner and let you know on Instagram in the next 24 hours, guys. But thank you, Angus. I know you're a busy guy. It was great to catch up.
Yeah,
and
good to chat with you.
Yeah, no problems at all. And have a Merry Christmas. We'll next time the Rebounds on TV is on Boxing Day, but we'll be doing a Q&A this Saturday. So stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for more on that. Beauty.
Beautiful.
See you later, Angus. Great
Thank
to
you.
catch up.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.